I'm back. Rodrance for Black and White Network. Well, this morning I did a video about the fact that Elon Musk met with a group of activists. Notably in there is Derek Johnson from the NAACP. And the meeting was, of course, about the fact that, oh my God, the platform's going to turn into hate speech, yada, yada, yada. Essentially, they were worried about the fact that their voices were going to get squashed, I guess. Now, the thing about that, you know, when you start thinking about it, Elon hasn't said he's going to squash any voices. He hasn't. But what I can tell you that you can see on Twitter is that he has unsquashed conservative voices. And that's what they really don't like. Okay, so they were trying to stop that. He had a meeting with them, and he said, look, content moderation has not changed. Now, the big concern involving that meeting was there's been some advertisers already pause with Twitter. General Motors is one of them. I mean, Chevy, really? Like a Rock, all of that. What happened to that all-American brand Chevy? All right, whatever. But you get the point. And some other advertisers were starting to pause too. Johnson & Johnson, American Express, Coca-Cola. Well, Twitter made like a little over $1 billion. All right. It might have been the first quarter of this year. Anyway, I saw the numbers. Almost all of that was advertising revenue. And by all of it, it was like 1.18 billion. 1.08 billion of that was advertising. Okay, now he's going to get some revenue from the $8 blue check mark thing, and we get that. Well, the activist group, even after meeting with Elon, I guess went back to the advertisers and was like, we're not comfortable with this, blah, blah, blah. I guess he wouldn't commit to squashing the voices in the conservative community. Well, they may have done this, and they may have caused a massive revenue drop, which Elon come out and admitted today, from advertisers that have dropped. But he also drowned them publicly for attempting to stop free speech in America. Good job, Elon, for this. For coming out and blatantly just talking about the fact that these activists are trying to squash free speech in America, and they're really worried about elections. That was part of it. Elon Musk says Twitter suffered, quote, massive revenue drop due to activist group pressure on advertisers. Yeah, but he said something I think that pulls bigger weight here. Elon Musk says that activist groups pressuring Twitter advertisers have caused social media giant to see, quote, a massive drop in revenue. This was his tweet. Twitter has had a massive drop in revenue due to activist groups pressuring advertisers, even though nothing has changed with content moderation. And we did everything we could to appease the activist. Extremely messed up. Exclamation point. They're trying to destroy free speech in America. That got 370,000 likes. Wow. A group of more than 40 organizations, we talked about that in my video, including the NAACP and GLAAD, have sent an open letter calling for Twitter's top 20 largest advertisers to cease advertising on the platform if Musk rolls back its current content moderation policies. The letter argues that within 24 hours of Musk taking ownership, the platform was inundated with hate and disinformation. Bullshit. Voices just quit being squashed. And we also found out, like, LeBron James came out and had a fit and made a claim that, oh my God, since Elon's bought this thing, the N-word is flying everywhere. Like, you're not saying it all over the court and in the locker room, but okay. So he come out and said this. Well, Elon slapped him across the mouth and said, look, it was like 300 accounts and they were all bots. They were fake accounts. Okay, so nobody that was an actual person was saying the N-word. Yeah, I mean, just proved him wrong. Quote, "We know that brand safety is of the utmost importance to you," the letter states, "as you have a moral and civic obligation to take a stand against the degradation of one of the world's most influential communication platforms." That in itself is sort of sad. "And to hold Musk to the pledge that he made to ensure Twitter is welcoming and a civil place for everybody. He never once claimed that it was going to turn into something uncivil. He hasn't. The letter is addressed to the chief executives of Amazon, Anheuser-Busch, Apple, Capital One, CBS, CenturyLink, Coca-Cola, Comcast, Best Buy, Disney, Google, HBO, IBM, Merck, Meta, Mondelez International, Pepsi Company, Procter & Gamble, Unilever, and Verizon. I can tell you, the one that's going to be interesting for me is going to be HBO, because they're undergoing new leadership. They got a new guy in charge, and I wonder if he's really going to back out of this. A spokesperson for HBO, here we go, okay. A spokesperson for HBO told Fox Business it would be, quote, assessing the platform under its new leadership and determine the appropriate steps. Representatives for the other companies did not immediately return a Fox Business request for comment. Musk has previously pledged in a letter to advertisers that Twitter would be welcoming to all and not a free-for-all hellscape. I don't think anybody thought that's what this was going to turn into. I know the lefties are saying that, but I think people that are sitting back using common sense knows that this isn't going to be, Adolf Hitler is flying across your Twitter's screen, even though the lefties put him on there all the time. I mean, really and truly. I mean, they do all the time. Ron DeSantis dressed up. And Trump. I mean, and that's repugnant shit right there in itself, right? Fundamentally, Twitter aspires to be the most respected advertising platform in the world that strengthens your brand and grows your enterprise. He also told the World Federation of Advertisers Global Alliance for Responsible Media that Twitter's commitment to brand safety is unchanged. Twitter's Content Moderation Council will include representatives with widely divergent groups, which will certainly include the civil community and groups who face hate-fueled violence. Okay, that was some of the groups that he's talking about. And what it sounds to me like, oh, this is what came out on Monday. The Twitter head of security and integrity, Yoel Roth, tweeted that the company has been focused on addressing the surge in hateful conduct. Between October 21st and October 31st, October 29th and October 31st, over 1,500 accounts engaged in hateful conduct were removed from Twitter, with the impressions on their conduct reduced to nearly zero, according to Roth. So they just took them off of there. So, and that's where we're going to stop, but you get the point. So, it seems that he decided to have this meeting and tell them, look, nothing's changed as of yet. You can blatantly tell something has changed in the algorithm, because I'm getting all these conservatives. I have for a while, since we found out that he was going to buy Twitter. All of a sudden, it was like Twitter employees started getting in there and trying to change the algorithm on the cool, as we call it. And so by the time he got there, maybe he could be, he would look at that and be like, oh, well, they weren't squashing anything, which we all know they were. And so does he. He's talked about the laptop and everything else being squashed on that platform. But I love the fact that he come out and he just publicly said, look, I've had a massive drop in revenue, and these activist groups are the reason they are trying to squash free speech in America. He drowned them. He just come right out and drowned them. I can't help but think that he's got a plan that we don't know about, or that maybe he's got some advertisers. I said in my video earlier, surely he had some other advertisers lined up to, and some people said, well, he doesn't need them. let them all walk. Well, he does have to generate revenue from somewhere. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, advertisers is a thing. It's absolutely a thing. But I would assume he would have lined up some advertisers that haven't went full bore into social justice and wokeness to have brought on the platform. Question is, who the hell is that? You know, what corporations is that now? That's what I'd love to know. I'm sure there's some out there when you get to looking, but I can't think of any. That's sad. That's really messed up that I literally cannot think of, well, this company's not woke. Now, I know they're making major changes over at Warner Media right now because of, at least on the studio side, and some projects that seem kind of woke for that company have been squashed. You know, and supposedly Netflix is trying to turn in another direction, but you know Disney's not going to change. Google's not going to change. So, you get the point. Tell me what you think, Black and White Network supporters. I wanted to do a follow-up when I saw that he blatantly drowned them and said, look, these activists, these woke activists are trying to kill free speech in this country. I appreciate that. Peace. I'm out. Till next time. Black and White Network supporters, make sure you go over and check out the Black and White Network merchandise store. 25% off USA First. 25% off USA First. Go now.